General Hospital latest update. Albrecht opens up to Rocco about her flawed but fierce daughter Britt, while Sasha stuns by leaving Port Charles to start over with Jason, and introduces Daisy to her grandfather. Meanwhile, secrets swirl around Dalton's shady bag, Nina's marriage explodes, and Anna sets her sights on the WSB. Rocco meets with Albrecht to discuss Britt, plus, Sasha leaves Port Charles and moves in with Spoiler. Today on General Hospital, Dalton makes a mysterious drop-off, Anna asks a favor of Dante, and Nina warns Sonny about Tracy. Joss arrives at the pool and says hello to Danny, who is working. Dalton shows up, and Joss congratulates him on his peer-reviewed article. He explains he was hoping to get a swim in before they got to work, so Joss says she'll check his emails while he does laps. What's in Dalton's bag? Dalton leaves a bag unattended by his chair as he jumps in the pool, and a woman across the deck seems to have her eyes on it. Joss, meanwhile, messages Vaughn to get to the pool ASAP. She ends up directing Danny to the mystery woman, saying her mom claims she's a good tipper, so he might want to give her special attention. As Danny tends to the woman, Joss sees Dalton and the woman giving each other looks. Dalton gets out of the pool, heads to Joss, and the woman attempts to pick up the bag. However, Danny intercepts her, offering to get her a fresh towel. Dalton, meanwhile, tells Joss that soon the exciting work will begin, but first he has a meeting with the dean of PCU. Danny, meanwhile, brings the mystery woman a drink on the house. Joss heads over to Dalton's bag, with what appears to be a tracker in hand, but Dalton suddenly returns, having changed into business clothes. She claims she dropped her glasses to cover why she was leaning over his bag. Dalton says he's off to his meeting and will see her soon. Anna confides in Felicia. Felicia drops by Anna's office as the cop asked her to. Anna remains suspicious of Vaughn and is convinced that the WSB is running an operation in town. Anna thinks they are watching Henry Dalton. She also believes Vaughn is an agent who is either working for or against the WSB. Anna reveals that Vaughn doesn't really work at PCU, but he's working in the same building Dalton's lab is in, and he's interested in Emma, who followed Dalton to PCU. Felicia says she needs to drop this now. Felicia asks how much of this is about Emma, and how much is about her wounded pride over being ousted by Brennan from the WSB. She says the last thing she needs is to make trouble. Anna thinks perhaps she shouldn't be looking at the op as a former agent, but as a grandmother. Nina warns Sonny. In her office, Nina reads a tabloid story about her and Sonny's marriage. Sonny drops by and asks why she lied to the press about him. Nina tells him that she had no choice, and Tracy is blackmailing her. She explains that Tracy could destroy her relationship with Willow, and she hated giving that interview. She swears their marriage was special to her and always will be. Sonny says Tracy is a vindictive woman, and Nina was right in wanting to protect her relationship with Willow. He asks if anything else is on the horizon that he should know about. Nina admits a second part of the interview is coming, and it's about his questionable mental state. Nina tells Sonny that they asked her about his meds, and what happens when he's off them. She is so sorry, but Sonny says this is on Tracy, and he will deal with her. Nina says this time it's different, as Tracy is coming after him to protect Gio. She thinks he is putting Gio in harm's way. Sonny says Tracy isn't wrong. He tells her that Gio came to him with information he thought he might need to know, and he had to tell him not to go near his business, as he doesn't want him in danger. He thinks he hurt Joe's feelings, but he hopes he listens to him. He understands Tracy's fears, but her fear is being used by Sidwell. Sonny insists that he won't let anyone run him out of Port Charles. Nina says Gio is lucky to have him, and so is Port Charles. He thinks he should get going as she seems to have a lot of work on her desk. She admits she doesn't want to deal with it, explaining it's Drew and Willow's wedding plans. Maxie's out of town on deception business and left it with her. Sonny says Drew and Willow could work out, which Nina doubts. He tells her the story doesn't always end the way she thinks. Nina knows and tells him to take care of himself. He says the same to her before leaving. Dante doesn't take Lulu's advice. At the bistro, Dante meets with Lulu, who is worried about Rocco. Dante says Rocco is still processing what he has learned and the mistakes that were made by them. Lulu says Brooklyn didn't make a mistake, and she knew what she was doing when she went after their son. Dante believes Brooklyn made a mistake as well, and she feels terrible that Rocco found out the way he did. Dante also points out that Rocco could have found out on his own, as the information is public knowledge, and that is on him for not telling him sooner. Lulu argues that he had a lot going on and was raising their son without her. Dante still maintains it was an accident on BLQ's part, but Lulu says he's giving Brooklyn a pass because she's Joe's mom. Dante says if she wants to hold on to her anger towards Brooklyn, he can't stop her, but he doesn't want to. She thinks he's making excuses, suggests he tell Gio to put his anger towards Brooklyn, and maybe he'll get his son back. Dante says Brooklyn said the same thing to him, so she deserves some grace. Brooklyn was willing to sacrifice her relationship with Gio so he could have won with him. Lulu can't believe Brooklyn thought about someone other than herself. Dante says blaming Brooklyn won't help Rocco or Gio. Lulu says he can compromise with her, but she won't, and she walks off. Later, Lulu meets Sonny at the pool and is concerned about the media attacks on him. She says Rocco has read them, and Sonny feels bad about that. He also knows this is hurting Laura, too. Lulu suggests he sell the peers, as it will take away Ezra and Drew's power over him. What does Rocco want from Albrecht? Rocco waits at a cafe and finally meets Albrecht, who tells him that he's grown so much since she last saw him. He thanks her for coming to see him in person, and she says she had to. He wants to know more about Britt. Albrecht says that it is only natural he is curious, as she was his mother for the first 7 months of his life. She admits her daughter was a mess. Albrecht tells Rocco that Britta was brilliant but suffered from terrible people skills and self-sabotage. Rocco heard Britt wasn't the best person. Albrecht has no illusions about who her daughter was. She was a messy and flawed woman. However, she was also strong and lived her life the way she wanted, without caring what the world thought about her. She says Britt was special. Rocco explains that Jason told him about the good parts of Britt. Albrecht jokes, for someone with brain damage, that Jason is wise. Rocco admits his parents are still angry about the situation with Britt. Albrecht understands, but Britt did love him, and he was such a sweet baby. She remembers how curious he was as a baby, and she was glad to get his email. She misses her daughter, and it is good to talk about her. However, she is interested in knowing more about him. Rocco says he needs to get to work and that he works at the pool. She thinks it's good he's making his way in the world at his age. Rocco asks how long she'll be in town. She says she comes and goes, so Rocco hopes they can talk again soon. Albrecht looks forward to it. Where is Jason taking Sasha? On the plane out of Port Charles, Sasha thanks Jason for escorting her and Daisy to their new home and for believing in her. Jason says Michael believes her, too, and she made the right call protecting Daisy by leaving town. Sasha feels horrible for Michael right now, but Jason says he wants to keep Daisy safe just as much as she does. Jason and Sasha discuss the Quartermaines, Tacy, Monica and Danny as they travel. Sasha knows it must be hard raising Danny without Sam, and being a sole parent must have him looking at the dangers of working for Sonny differently. She can see he's made Danny a priority, and it shows. Sasha admits Danny told her that he was hoping they'd get together, and she gets the feeling the boy thinks his dad is lonely or unhappy. She points out that Jason takes care of everyone, and puts everyone ahead of himself, and she wonders if he stops to think what he might want. Jason appreciates her looking out for him, but she asks if he doesn't think to put himself out there and date. She believes the right woman is out there, and he deserves to share his life with someone. Eventually, their plane begins its descent, and Sasha reminds Jason of what she said. He deserves more, and she hopes he gets it. in the show's final moments. At Crimson, Albrecht drops in to see Nina, who is thrilled to see her aunt. Albrecht says it's been too long since she heard from her, so that must mean her life is in shambles. What trouble is she in, and how much of a mess does she have to help her clean up? At the pool, the woman gives Danny a huge tip, and he's thrilled. She leaves, and Joss watches her pick up the bag on her way out. From the shadows, Dalton watches as well. Joss texts Vaughn to tell him not to come to the pool and to intercept the package at the second location. Sonny admits to Lulu that he was made an offer to buy the piers, but from someone he won't sell them to. She thinks he should find the right buyer. He promises he will take care of everything and protect Laura. Dante shows up at Anna's office. She has a favor to ask, and it involves the WSB. Sasha and Jason approach a house and knock on the door. Robert answers, and Sasha introduces him to his granddaughter, Daisy. On the next General Hospital, Portia tells Curtis she's taking her power back and Drew can go straight to hell. Albrecht tells Nina that there is something very wrong with her daughter. Willow is on the phone saying, "Is there really no way to compromise?" Jason tells Sasha she'll always have a home to come back to. Anna asks Carly how much she knows about Joss' new boyfriend. Dante is looking at monitors in a room with feeds and says, "Who the hell are you waiting for?" Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.